As proud turkey lovers, Butterball seems to relish its fame in the poultry world. But there are some underground facts about the brand that even the most loyal turkey enthusiasts might not know. Get ready to gobble some serious turkey intel. This is the untold truth of Butterball. The name Butterball was first trademarked in 1940 by a deli owner named Ada Walker in Wyoming, Ohio. Then Leo Peters of Grand Rapids, Michigan bought the Butterball trademark from her in 1951. Despite clearly seeing potential in the name Butterball, Peters wasn't a poultry man himself, so he leased the name Butterball to Swift & Company, a Chicago company that sold turkeys, before ultimately selling it to them in the 1960s. In the sale, Peters still retained some non-poultry related rights to the name Butterball, and thus created Butterball Farms, a separate company that has nothing to do with turkeys. In fact, it makes actual butter, sometimes even butter balls. Swift was acquired by Conagra in 1990. Then Carolina Turkeys snapped up the Butterball division from Conagra in 2006 and officially created Butterball LLC. In 2010, Seaboard and Goldsboro went halfsies on Butterball LLC, taking 50% ownership of the company. While Butterball is based in North Carolina today, it all started with a woman in Ohio who had a stellar idea for selling sandwiches. Butterball is known for its pre-basted turkeys. The frozen Butterball turkeys have an 8% solution of water, salt, spices, and natural flavors, while the turkeys it sells as fresh, which means they've never been chilled below 26 degrees Fahrenheit, only contain 4% of that solution. A lot of fresh turkeys at your local grocery store aren't pre-basted, and that's where Butterball gets very different. There's not necessarily anything wrong with a fresh one that's been pre-brined. It may even be more tender than a non-brined bird, but it might be a lot saltier than you expect. This is especially likely if you don't realize it's been basted and then baste it yourself. Butterball takes advantage of a few labeling tricks to make us feel good about choosing their birds for our turkey dinners. We feel like we're doing the right thing if we buy a bird that's labeled premium or no hormones added. But these catchy sales terms don't mean what you think, and some of them don't mean anything at all. The USDA doesn't even have a premium category for poultry. Premium is just a fancy adjective that has no real significance. And while you may think Butterball is morally superior for raising a bird without hormones, you shouldn't. The law already prohibits poultry producers from giving birds growth hormones. Don't be deceived by the phrase all natural either. You might envision turkeys happily roaming in a pasture eating plant-based organic turkey food, but the U.S. Department of Agriculture simply deems that a product is all natural if it doesn't have any artificial ingredients. It says nothing about how the poultry was raised, so there's a good chance it was in a cage and under the influence of antibiotics. Butterball also uses the word young on its label. This is a distinction because the USDA insists that manufacturers label the bird as mature or yearling if they have been alive longer than 1 year at the time of slaughter. But this isn't as big a deal as you think. The majority of turkeys being raised solely for commercial consumption are killed when they're young, which is around 16 to 18 weeks old. In November 2018, there was an underground millennial-driven prank known as the Turkey Challenge, in which young adults were encouraged to text their parents asking how to cook a 25-pound bird in the microwave. The teens and young adults were sharing screenshots of the text exchanges of parents' shocked responses on their social media with the hashtags Turkey Challenge and 25-pound Turkey Challenge. As you can imagine, parent shaming and hilarity ensued.
I never heard of cooking in microwave, but I think Carmine's is a better idea. LOL. 2 heart emojis.
But Butterball surprised all the pranksters when it chimed in on Twitter, and not in the way you might expect. The turkey experts proclaimed it is in fact possible to cook a turkey in the microwave. You have to thaw it first and cook it on high for 4 minutes per pound, followed by a series of flipping and basting actions that sound rather tiring. The only caveat is that the turkey has to be no bigger than 12 pounds. If it's much bigger than that, after all, it's probably not going to fit in your small appliance.
Hey, Mom, quick question. Can you microwave a turkey? She goes, no. Do you want me to cook a turkey?
The viral prank proved that Butterball seems to have its nuked turkey game on lock. Nothing says I have arrived in the poultry industry quite like a degree from Butterball University. Butterball started its Turkey Talk line in 1981. The ultimate resource for novice turkey cookers at Thanksgiving time, in 2016, it even created the option for clueless turkey chefs to text or tweet their questions, which range from how long should you cook a turkey to can you cut a turkey with a chainsaw? For real. The 50 or so folks who make up the Turkey Talk Line crew range in background from professional chefs to food stylists. But their attendance at Butterball University each year for the first 3 years they man the phone lines is required, regardless of any prior expertise. Butterball University is basically a very intense 3-day course that guides Turkey Talk Liners on how to answer the vast array of questions that come down the pipe each November and December. The core classes include thawing, cooking, basting, resting, moving, and carving. Bottom line, if you can't pass Turkey 101 at BU, you aren't getting a coveted seat at the Turkey Talk Line table this Thanksgiving.
Butterball hotline, let's butter your balls.
And I like it well done. How would you suggest I cook it?
A long time. Cook it a long time.
Perhaps it was an oversight and not an overgeneralized stereotype that men are not as skilled in the kitchen as women, but Butterball didn't have any men fielding questions on the Turkey Talk Line until 2013.
When I started, it was mostly women that called, but now about 25% of our men are calling. Yay!
The first man on the line was RJ Jaramillo, the brains behind the blog Cook Like a Dad. Apparently, Butterball only realized its bias when statistics revealed 1 in 4 of the calls to the talk line were from men. Butterball's CEO in 2013, Rod Brenneman, told the Associated Press, "We stepped back and looked at the changing Thanksgiving table, and men are becoming more and more a part of not only the carving of the turkey, but the cooking of the turkey." Butterball started letting folks email the Turkey Talk Line in 2006, then upgraded to allowing chats via its website in 2012. It's a little surprising that Butterball evolved with the times quicker with its technology upgrades than it did with the gender of its turkey specialists, but we're glad they finally caught up. Butterball maintains the largest turkey processing plant in the world in the small town of Mount Olive, North Carolina. The bulk of its employees are from the estimated 59,000 Haitians working in the U.S. under the protection of a temporary status program, which was created for refugees of the 2010 Haiti earthquake. Like many immigrants, the Haitian Butterball workers send a lot of their earnings back to Haiti to help their struggling families. They have been a major force in the revival of Mount Olive. The town manager, Charles Brown, told the Washington Post, if the Haitians and other immigrants suddenly went away, not just in Mount Olive, but in eastern North Carolina, agriculture would suffer an amazingly hard blow. Since the Butterball plant in Mount Olive processes over 500 million pounds of turkey each year, the loss of so much of its workforce could cause a severe impact. Attempts to deport this particular immigrant group by former President Trump have been blocked by a federal court challenge. And as of December 9, 2020, the Department of Homeland Security has extended employment authorization documents through October 4, 2021. In November 2018, Butterball announced it had teamed up with Amazon to create some pre-recorded answers for Alexa to dole out when folks ask their Amazon Echo about cooking turkey. They decided on what info to include based on the most FAQs the Turkey Talk Line receives each year.
Every year, Butterball tries to reach people in a new and exciting way, and this year we're doing that through Alexa.
Then PETA clapped back. Not necessarily known for its parodies, PETA definitely got creative on this animal cruelty call-out by releasing a parody video that essentially shamed Butterball for unethical turkey treatment. It depicts a woman and her daughter preparing a Thanksgiving turkey. They start asking Alexa questions about turkeys, and the answers are uncomfortably honest.
Hey Mom, where do turkeys come from?
Adorable farms with nice farmers, honey.
Spoiler alert, there is footage from a turkey slaughterhouse, a voice from an imaginary turkey crying for help, and a box of dismembered turkey parts. By the end, you've gotten the message. Turkey raising and selling isn't as whimsical as Butterball might try to make it sound. In 2011, someone from the animal rights group Mercy for Animals went undercover to work at a Butterball factory in North Carolina. After installing a hidden camera, the MFA rep acquired unsightly footage of repeated turkey abuse. When the worker submitted his findings to the Hope County District Attorney's Office, they ordered local officials to conduct a raid of the facility. Footage revealed turkeys with, quote, open wounds and exposed flesh. The following year in August, the first of 6 workers charged pled guilty to animal cruelty. MFA also went undercover in 2012 and 2014 and claims Butterball workers continued to engage in gruesome treatment toward the turkeys despite the legal ramifications of the 2011 raid. Butterball maintains it was unaware of the cruelty until the footage surfaced, but insists it has a zero-tolerance policy for mistreatment of its birds. Butterball might be an all-American brand, but that hasn't saved it from some not-so-patriotic rumors. In 2016, half of Butterball's parent company, Seaboard Corporation, caught the eye of the U.S. Department of Justice when word got out that they were allegedly doing business with a Lebanese family that had been put on the blacklist for terrorism affiliation. The family supposedly gave hefty contributions to Hezbollah, a Shiite militant group associated with terrorist attacks and military support to the Syrian regime of Bashar al-Assad. The nitty-gritty of the dealings traces to a wheat flour transaction between Seaboard and the Lebanese brothers, who were placed on the terrorist watch list in 2009 and 2010. Seaboard denies knowingly working with terrorists, but did acknowledge the operation of a flour plant in Gambia with a man named Mohammed Bazi, who had business dealings with the blacklisted brothers. Bazi claimed he stopped working with the men when he learned they were on the terror watch list, but neither he nor Seaboard can ever reverse the Google stain of Butterball's potential terrorist collaboration. It's okay if you've asked yourself if Butterball turkeys actually contain butter. It makes sense since the word butter is in the name, and generally, butter makes everything taste better. But Consumerist reports that the former CEO of Butterball, Rod Brenneman, confirmed in a 2013 interview with the Associated Press that the Butterball branded birds are not made with butter. Brenneman said, "Many people think Butterball turkeys have butter in them, but they don't. Basically, the name came about because of their plump size and golden color. We're proud of the Butterball name. There is no talk or joke about being a Butterball at this company, only about our turkeys. They're plump." Of course, as we've previously stated, the Butterball name is traced back to a deli owner in Ohio, and Brenneman likely can't confirm that plumpness or a golden hue were the reasons behind her amazing name. It could have just been the nickname for the woman's favorite turkey. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more mashed videos about your favorite food brands are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.